Hi everyone, my name is Della Phillips. I'm an artist as well as I'm known as the Bicycle Lady. How you doing today? I'm doing great. Now, if you find this video helpful or entertaining, please give it a thumbs up. It helps me out a lot with YouTube. As well, please subscribe. There's no cost. And again, it really helps out with YouTube. And also that way you click the notification button, you also get notified of all the videos when they come out. Alright, what I have here is probably something you've seen before, and my prior grouping was some markers. They're fairly inexpensive markers, and then some practice sheets. Now, some of these practice sheets you've seen before at the beginning of this series. Well, the reason why I have them out today is where I'm heading into the new section, which is not just dealing with seeing the edges and drawing that as a contour line or edge drawing, where you work from rule number 1 from the big shape, and then you work for the edges inside to bring detail. Now, I'm going to be looking at things from what most people refer to, or at least from my perception, is constructive drawing. That is where you see the shapes. And by using these shapes, you can build that up into a item or a scene, and then refine that into a very nice finished drawing. But first, before I start getting into that, I must say it is time to redo your drawings. At least that's what I did. I used the same still life where I had the lamp and the flowers and so forth, since flowers were artificial. I made sure that was backed about the same as when I did my pre-drawing, as well as I did a pre-drawing of my face, a portrait, and I redid that. That was while looking into a mirror. So if you're following along, you're doing the exercises, please do that. Now let's get started with phase 2, which is constructive drawing. In phase 2, what I'm going to start with is seeing shapes, and that includes lines and other things. And then progress on to more than likely perspective. I'm not quite sure how deep I'm going to get in perspective, but I'm still going to keep things 2D mainly. And then finally head into tone and value. It's so very, very important for tone and value to get a true sense of a painting. You need to get the light right, and it also gives the 3D depth. And if you get the light wrong, a painting will just seem flat and dead, or I should say a drawing. Whereas if you get the light right, then it seems to come alive. But we'll get into that much later. That would probably be phase 3. But right now, I'm just beginning phase 2. I did the pre-drawing, then I did this after phase 1 drawing, and I'm not showing them just yet. Maybe I will in the future, we'll see. And now let's get back to this. Now I have access to the community page. You can just click on the Bicycle Lady, go to community, click on it, and you can then see some files, or I can leave comments there, so forth. And I will also post these on the Bicycle Lady Facebook page as well. And that way you can access them either way and get the files. This is one I made up, practicing lines. I'm going to be doing that again. That's the reason why I got the different color pens out. It's helpful when you have the lines in deep gray that you use a different color pen, like the brown or this kind of like a brick red. And I'm going to go back, since line is a shape. And again, practice the lines using this here. Now keep in mind, I like pulling towards, and you can always just move your paper around to where it's comfortable for you. I'm going to set this to the side so I'm not working on top of it. And essentially you can practice. Now I'm not going to do as many as I initially did, but you can go over these 3 to 5 times. If I do all these, it would be 3 each. You can see them off a little bit. Anyway, I need to go back and work on those. I guess I should have worked on those a little more. And I'm going to do that for a week, where I'm going through this. Then, of course, down here I was doing circles. I was doing loops. And we can do that both ways. Try to stay consistent. And then, of course, we'll try to get those a little more consistent as well. Waves. Both small and large. And then this is like a bullseye chart, although you can see I got my circles not quite centered all the time. I think I will, before I post this, change this dark to a light gray, or maybe even the dotted line. So some people says it's best to go around this way. Keep in mind you want to move not from your wrist, even though I did that with a small one. Don't follow me on that, but from your shoulder, like that. So I'm going to do that approximately 3 to 5 times on each one of those. I may even skip it because I did put quite a few in. And then here comes the ellipses. And I may just put dotted lines and do that, dotted lines. I think that may be good. I like doing ellipses counterclockwise, because that way, when I went clockwise, I lose that one corner. But I might practice doing it either way. And here you have different aspects of ellipses, whereas you're looking at it from the most acute angle, a little bit less acute. In other words, as in perspective. And these are all values, where you say 60%, 30%, and so forth and so forth. So that I'm going to practice. I'm going to do 3 to 5 times there as well. As you see, I did cut that off there. I'm going to see. I want to do counterclockwise and clockwise and see what works best. Sometimes I do really big ones this way and then this way, so I can see where I'm going. So these are exercises I've done before, nothing new. And then the final thing is, let's start looking at the new. Let me put this over to the side and out of the way. And that's shapes. Now we're not going to get into forms where we're talking spheres and pyramids and so forth and cubes. Instead, we're just going to stay with the 2-dimension, which, of course, are circles, and allows the practice of circles. And, of course, we start out by going around here 3 to 5 times. I'm sure you don't want to sit here and watch me do that. And then another one. And there's a pink dotted line. I'm going to have to revamp this sheet. There is a pink dotted line. I'm going to have to revamp that sheet. And then the square. Again, you can do the same thing here. I don't do squares with continuous lines, but and so on. Practice that. Then the pyramid. Not pyramid, but triangle. I don't remember my geometry. It's been a long time for me, since high school days. It's that isosceles, I think it is, equal size. And then, of course, the rectangle. And then, of course, the oval or the ellipse. And then the diamond. And I just recently added 2 shapes, which is the egg shape. And I'm going to revamp this, so, or either that or take these to the second one, so we have more space to practice on the sheet, the egg shape. And then this I often refer to, some people say it's modified figure 8, but it's more of a peanut shape. And surprisingly enough, I have seen a lot of this shape in nature, or I think I did. And not all people agree that this is one of the shapes. The primary shapes they talk about is circle, cube, triangle, rectangle, and oval or ellipse. But I added these two. So I'm going to be practicing them and get those, real set into my mind and get used to making those shapes. And if you're working along with me on learning how to draw or improving your drawing skills, I hope you do these exercises as well. It won't take that long in the morning. And then the final thing is, remember when I took pictures and when we went through a special item, you probably remember doing all the outline here. Instead, take this or a heavy pen and see if you can see shapes. Like right now, I'm not going to get into that detail, but this camera is essentially a rectangle. And just mark directly onto the picture, the rectangle, and then within that rectangle there is another long rectangle, and then of course you have almost a square, just slightly, and then another rectangle here, mark that, and then we have here a nice big circle and another circle within that. I'm going real fast, and then another circle within that, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, a rectangle there. And then of course you have a long bar here for the shadows, rectangles, and here you seem to have a part of an ellipse where the strap comes in, and another one, curve, partial ellipse there, and definitely we have like a teardrop, which is like an ellipse here with almost a pyramid coming off. So that's what I'm going to be doing. A great source of pictures if you don't want to print them all out from like Pixabay or Unsplash, which are royalty free, is grab the Sunday paper, especially weekend section. They usually have some really good pictures. Of course, wait until after everybody's done with it and draw directly on that with a nice heavy pen, maybe even a Sharpie. Until next time, I'm going to be practicing these things for about a week or maybe a little bit less, and then we'll start on the next phase as well that way. Until next time, you have a good day.